Hello pilots, this is Craig with TandemParagliding.org. We're a paraglider service center. We do line replacements, trim tuning, and inspections. I just wanted to spend a few moments here going over our trim tuning reports because we spend a lot of time on this. We actually take about an hour to set up our spreadsheet for each and every glider because the line layouts are different for every make and model. In order for the populate the results properly, to evaluate most appropriately, we have to have the line groups arranged accordingly so that the averages of each and every line group are going to be showing up as necessary. So here's a quick overview. This is the before retrim. This is the condition of your glider as we receive it, after we measure it. And then after we do our adjustments, it's going to populate to a table here after retrim. So we got the A rows in red, B rows blue, C row purple, D row green, and E's on the tandems and then brakes. And then we go to the second page. We have a before and after as well. And we have what's called a malleing loop table, which are all the malleing loops at the riser, what they are before the retrim, the different malleing loops we use, and then we have a chart data table, and this is the table that we do all our evaluations from. It's the averages of all the line groups for each and every row, line group 1, 2, 3, and stabilos. Of course, the rigging diagram with the specific glider, the line materials for each and every segment of the glider. We specify whether they're sheathed, Dyneema, sheathed aramid, unsheathed, Dyneema, unsheathed aramid, and their locations, the riser configuration. And then we have some charts. We have column charts here showing the A row, B row, C row, and D row. And the taller the columns, the worse condition your glider is in, and the smaller and more close to the zero line, the better they are. And there's two horizontal lines, a red one at the top, which is plus 10 millimeters, and a red one at the bottom, minus 10 millimeters. You don't want these columns to go above or below those red lines. And then we have them broken up per line groups, same thing, A, B, C, and D rows, and then a 3D view of the same thing. After report shows the differences. You can compare them before and after. And then we have the chart data table and the malleing loop table changes from after our adjustments. And so let's blow this thing up, and we'll also do what's called a porosity test is included as part of the trim tuning, because what good is it if we trim tune your glider and your porosity is bad? And so we'll save you that money if the porosity is bad. We're not going to charge you for the trim tuning. We'll kick that portion back. And so let's go back to the table here and get a little more specific as far as what's going on. Let's blow this thing up. And let's go over to some specifics that we get into that we think we are a little more unique than others. We may measure each and every riser leg to make sure that the A, B, C, and all those risers are with plus or minus 5 millimeters, which is the factory tolerance for risers. And then we these colors here on the A row, B row, C, so on and so forth, are the line groups. So this glider happens to be 4, 4, 4, and then the stabilos. But every glider is a little bit different, so we have to break that up specifically for each and every glider so that it's not these results here in red that are a concern. It's when they're showing up in the averages. And so when we evaluate this, we go over to the chart data table. And as you can see here, I put red circles in the areas of concern. And the glider is pretty darn close to passing, just as it is. It's just a little below the red horizontal line here on the B row. But it's below the upper horizontal line, and it's above the horizontal line down here on the A, the C, and the D rows. It's just the B row is just a tad off. And so we can see that adjustment here on the, what is this? It's probably the Stabilo is what's doing it, because it's on the B row of this glider. And we would just make that adjustment, and everything would be plus or minus 10, because everything here is 6, 7, 5, 9, and it's just this Stabilo here, minus 12. It would make that adjustment by probably lengthening the Stabilo line by redoing the main line, and then this thing would be all hunky-dory and passing factory spec. But we offer another aspect for trim tuning. We have a standard trim tuning for a certain price, and then for $60 or more, we do what's called a Trim Tune Plus, and that's where we evaluate the pitch, brake, and pitch speed aspects of the glider, the pitch, balance, angle of attack, different verbiage for the same thing. But what we're evaluating here is that there's not a more than 4 millimeters difference in relationship to the B row. So for example, here on A1, B1, the difference between these two is 3 millimeters, so we're good. But between B1 and C1, we have 10 millimeters difference, plus 4 minus 6. That's not good, so we need to make some changes there to get the pitch right. And then we evaluate A2 with B2, C2, and D2, and we can see here that the difference between A2 and B2 is 5, so that's beyond what we want. And then between B2 and C2, it's only 4, so we're okay there, but it's this number here. We need to get that down. And we do that all across the board here. Distance between, on the right side, A1 and B1 is 6 millimeters. We need to get that down to 4. And then between B1 and C1, we got 7 millimeters difference, minus 6, 7, 1. So that needs to be changed as well as the D row. And so we make those adjustments accordingly so that we can have the proper pitch balance. And so the closer we are to the zero line, the better off we are. But we only need to be below 10 millimeters and above minus 10 millimeters in between these two red lines in order to be passing. But to get pitch balance, it's going to be plus or minus 4 millimeters, which is much higher specification to meet. So once we've done the adjustments on this glider, you can see the columns are much smaller, closer to the zero line. There's nothing above the 5 millimeter mark on either side. And this table here, you look, the same table that we had above here that had all the red marks with the numbers of 6, 7, 8, 9, which are typically passing, are now down to 3s, 4s, 2s, 1s. And so the difference between the A row and the B row now is only 3 millimeters here, and 4 millimeters there. Here we only got 1 millimeter, or excuse me, 3 millimeters difference. Here again, we're at 4, which is okay. Here we only got 1 to 3 millimeters difference, and so we make sure that we have that straight across the board. No more than 4 millimeters, and we're that way all the way across, and that's our advanced trim tuning, what we call a Retrim Plus. Takes us a lot longer, takes us 3 to 4 hours longer than a typical retrim, but it really dials your glider in. And then here's the mullion loop table, and we bold in the ones where we made the changes. We let loops out here, we added loops there. So this is A1, this is C1, and then the C is affixed in the D row for these line groups 1, 2, 3. So you make adjustment here in the C, it affects the D's. And then you make adjustment here in the Stabilo, it affects all the Stabilo lines that are affiliated with the A, B, and C row. And the same on the left side. And then the brakes, where we're lengthening them because they were short. This many millimeters on that side, and this many millimeters on the other side. And then here's our pictures of our mullion loops. But that kind of gives you the gist of what we do here. And what else can we show you? Porosity readings, we give you those. This is the most stressed out cell, the top surface center cell. And if that thing's above 200 seconds, then that means the glider's good, because these other ones are going to even be any better, will be better. So if you look at the charts in regards to the line groups, here's the before, and it's showing you the whole layout for the, starting from the center, line group 1, 2, and 3. The same thing all the way across. The numbers are here, right side, left side, A row, B row, C, D. And then after retrim, see how much smaller they are? That's better, much better. And then we also offer what's called a 3D view of the same thing. So before, see they're much taller columns, flight direction, A, B, and C. So gliders go in this direction. That's with all our charts. Keep it all in sync. So you're always looking at things that everything on the right side of the screen is the right side of the glider, and everything on the left side of the screen is the left side of the glider. We keep that way throughout, even on our tables. You know, if you're looking at these, on the right column is the right side, and the left column is the left side. So it keeps your mindset in the same arena. And that kind of gives you the gist of what we do here. And then we also give you an overall rating before retrim. This glider was actually in pretty good condition, because if you look at the line group averages, we only had one red from the A row, B row, and C row. That was it. It was just a Stabilo. Whereas when we got done trimming it, we gave this thing a very good condition. Got any questions, be free to contact us. If you need some service work done in your glider, lines replaced, you can just message us through Facebook, or if you've already been a previous customer, you can just text us. It's much better than going through our website. Hope that helps you folks. Have a good day.